before we go investigate the abductions, I want to see if we got another class quest we can do. You gotta stay caught up on those because you get gear and skills from those. Yep, we got one. Greetings, Saya. You're radiant, the confidence of a conjurer who neglects not her study of the elements. I confess I have no lesson for you to learn this day. Instead, I would ask that you aid me in the education of another. Yes, I speak of Sylphie. After no small amount of prompting, bordering no coercion, the child has finally promised to attempt to embrace the forces of nature, but I'm afraid the matter is not so easily resolved. Sylphie has never attempted to learn the basic offensive spells that you and most of other conjurers mastered before first venturing into the wild. As such, she is ill-equipped to undertake the trials which furnished you and your peers with an understanding of the elements. Put simply, she is no match for the tainted spirits of nature. But if a more capable conjurer were to accompany her and purify the corruption in her stead, it may yet serve to impress upon her the power of the forces at work. I bid you take her on a pilgrimage around the Twelveswood and give her the opportunity to witness the confrontations firsthand. Earth, wind, water, she must know them all. Show her the majesty and primal ferocity of nature. As it is with you, let earth be her first lesson. Sylphie awaits you at Bent Branch Meadows. Pray forgive my presumption, but I thought it best to send her on ahead while her convictions remain strong. Once you have located the patch of corrupted soil at Bent Branch, draw forth the tainted spirit and let her witness the struggle that ensues. May the elementals aid you in this endeavor, Saya. Let's get her done. Oh, I wasn't sure you'd come. You are kind to help me. I've done nothing but mock you. Well, if you're ready, the corrupted soil is just there. I promise I'll be paying attention. Looks like somebody else is doing the same thing. Ah! I wasn't scared. I was just a little startled, that's all. It was as if a mass of solid wrath had erupted from the ground. I never felt anything never mind. We have to head to Bannock next. Let's get this over with. Yeah, you liking that, huh? You liking it. There's more to conjure. Seems to be the place. I'll be watching, so do whatever it is you do. Show you right. God! The wind blew straight through me. It felt both gentle and sharp at the same time. I can't explain it. This is something you can conjure? Let's be on our way. The last one is at Lilystone. The tainted water is here. Show me how it's done then. The lake is so beautiful, I never noticed how clearly the sky is reflected in its surface. I never noticed. Let's head back. I'm ready to speak with the guild master now. Welcome back, my avid conjurers. How fared you in the encounter with the elements? Sylphie, what did you sense as Saya cleansed the sources of corruption? It's hard to explain. It was like hearing voices cry out in joy. And I felt their happiness wash over me. The world seemed sharper, more alive. It was almost as if nature were speaking to me. But why, Brother Asumi? Why did my mother teach me to avoid this side of conjuring? What was she so afraid of? There are certain truths that hide behind the mask of our words, and there is much that your mother didn't tell you. But you needn't seek all the answers at once, Sylphie. Even now your mind founders amid a sudden inundation of awareness. The first time we connect with nature can be a wonderful but disorienting experience. I suggest you allow yourself some time to adjust to this new perspective. Yes, Guildmaster. You have my gratitude, Saya. Thanks to you, Sylphie has taken a most important step. You heard her mention voices crying out in joy, did you not? It appears that the mother's gift has been passed on to the daughter. Such sensitivity is not something one can achieve through meditation and training, but a blessing that only a few fortunate chosen receive. And, as you have no doubt surmised, Sylphie's mother was one such person. The misunderstanding of that blessing, however, was what led her down such a tragic path. We cannot allow Sylphie's astonishing talent to consume her in the same manner. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. The girl has barely awoken to her potential. And for that potential to be fully realized, your support is yet needed. I suspect she failed to mention that the promise of your involvement in her lesson was the reason for her change of heart. You underestimate the impression your quiet determination has made on young Sylphie. If modesty prevents you from acknowledging your own good deed, consider this task a part of your training, for conjurers are healers of wounds, be they physical or otherwise. Walk with her on her journey, Saya, and together explore the myriad mysteries of nature. Sure is foggy here, but I think this is the place over here. Camp Dry Bone. There's Isambard, just like we were told. Aye, I'm Isambard, here to search for the missing folk, I take it? Menphilia sent word that an adventurer fitting your description would be along. She also warned us to be wary of the Al-Maljah. It seems we know who the culprits are, at the very least. Now, I bear no official title at this camp, but the people here have come to look to me for leadership. You may have my word that I'll do all I can to help see the victim safely returned. Let us get right to it then. Menphilia names the Al-Maljah culprits in all this. You would do well to investigate them first. Much harm has been levied on the lands by Al-Maljah hands. The flames burn where they might, but their light cannot stay the darkness in all places at all times. There have been brutal murders of callers at the church of Saint Adama Landama, innocents wishing no more than to pay their respects to the dead. The poor souls deserve a proper burial. I would see to the deed before mongrels catch their scent, but I know not if the Al-Maljah still linger. Would you secure their remains for me, friend? You will find them on the eastern road. 12 willing, you may even come to learn something of the Al-Maljah's seek in this area. See what they seek in this area. That looks mighty suspicious. Yep. Like a boss. Boy, these Alma Jaw, they would just be coming and snatching up dead bodies, ain't that something? Robbing the dead. It is good to see you returned. Were you able to secure the remains of our fallen? With the bodies given back proper to the earth, the souls will find their way across to the other side. You have done a noble deed this day. I thank you. Now then, what of the Alma-Jah? Did you see any? Surely such massive monstrosities as they cannot conceal their presence, much less take their quarry unaware. Ah, so there were Alma-Jah remaining after all. I feared as much. Their part in the low-born disappearing is all but confirmed, but I sense there is more to this than meets the eye. The occasional Alma-Jah raiding party would not account for people going missing in these kinds of numbers. The total is too great, and the questions too many. It would not surprise me in the least to learn of another hand in this. But whose? Countless travelers pass through Reborn every day, and even if it were one among them, how would we best discover who may be implicit in these vanishings? Good question, bro. That's why I'm here. What say we turn an eye to the common folk themselves? It may be among them that we find the reasons for these vanishings. 12 forbid it be so. There is a merchant by the name of Ungst, who was born here in Drybone and grew up in the Golden Bazaar. A rough character, but he knows the people here better than anyone else. I'd wager he's at the inn, quaffing away the day's earnings. Here, I'll write a note for you to show him, else he's not like to speak to you. Look who it is, the dude we was hitting him with them stones. Great, he's our help. Blech. Well, gods be damned. You're the bloody adventurer who threatened me back in Oda. What in the seven hells do you want with me now? Well, I got some more rocks for you, bro. Dear friend, missing people, please help. Yours, Isambard. Folk around here are as wary as they come. They'll turn tail and run if you so much as pass wind nearby. Played them all for fools and coaxed some hard labor out of them, I did. If anything, they're even more timid than before. What with all the disappearances. You can go talk to them yourself if you don't believe me. I have nothing to say but this. Thou take who or whatever been feeding off us low folk. Please, miss, just leave me be. What do you want from me? I don't know anything. I swear, please don't kill me. Dang. Just as I told you, wasn't it? A whole lot of them are terrified. Hiccup. There's talk of folk getting abducted, but if you ask me, they simply up and moved on to a better place. This place isn't exactly Costa del Sol, if you know what I'm saying. I don't like his attitude. Don't nobody treat the warrior light like that. Welcome back, Saya. Have you learned aught of import? I see. I suppose I should have expected as much from Unks. Well, another thought occurred to me in your absence. The common folk are nothing if not fervent in their religious beliefs. Perhaps if they speak freely to their gods, then the clergy may know something of use. Oh, so we're about to go see about these churches, it sounds like. If we would know what the common folk speak of to their gods, we've no better place to ask than that of Church of Saint Adama Landama. I don't know how to say that. It is a small and humble church found to the northwest of here. And so long as you're headed there, might I ask you to deliver this embalmed corpse? A morbid request, I grant you, but it must be borne to burial, and I trust none more than you to see it done. Seek out a man named Marquise. He tends the graves of the Lichyard. He will tell you where the body is to be interred. Marquise. What up, bro? I am Marquise, yes. A body? Of course. There have been so many bodies of late. I apologize, miss. If you seek a place of burial, then there is an empty grave atop the ridge. Take the path and lay him to rest there. You look mighty familiar, my friend. Mighty familiar. Don't recognize the name, though. Maybe it's just my imagination. Morbid. It is done. May they all walk in Thal's realm. What? Missing people? I'm afraid I cannot help you, but maybe Sister Orson can. Or is it Arson? I'm gonna go with Orson. She has been kind to me. Everyone has been so kind. I don't know why, though. Pardon me. You will find Sister Orson within the church walls. I hear you have done us the service of burying a fallen soul. Please accept our gratitude and extend it to Isambard when next you see him. You seek knowledge of missing dry bone inhabitants? It is true. I am closer to the people than any other of the order. I confide in them, and they in me. When they wish to speak to their keeper, Thal, I am the medium through which they do. Should I learn anything pertinent, I will be sure to share the information with you. I only wish Marquise would be more helpful in the manner. I pray he did nothing to offend. He saw terrible things during the calamity. His scars run deep. Indeed, he seems to now prefer the company of the dead over the living. While tragic, I feel such behaviors ill befits the church. I received word not long ago that one of our recent visitors, a man called Thancred, I believe, took offense at his conduct. I must have words with the Marquise, and soon. Thank you, Saya. A burial is no easy thing, even when the departed is a stranger. Were you able to learn aught of the missing common folk? You've been keeping yourself rather busy of late, haven't you, Saya? Thancred. That's my bro right there. A pleasure, my dear Isambard. The name is Thancred, and I share a passion with you and our mutual friend here for learning what has become of these missing persons and why. I, too, spoke with Unks, more times than I care to count. There seems to be some truth to this notion of common folk speaking their secrets only to those in service of the gods. Prostration, prayer, penance, abject deeds done behind closed doors, away from prying eyes. Who better to take the pious unawares than she who takes confession, the good Sister Orson herself? Orson? She wouldn't. She couldn't. Even the most beautiful rose have thorns, my friend, and you would be wise to keep an eye to this rose. Still, the Lich Keeper Marquise. I'd swear to the 12 I've seen that face elsewhere before. You know what? I just said the same thing. Sister Orson. It cannot be, though she is wont to travel to the Golden Bazaar on her own, and it is not uncommon to see her speaking to the children. But, no, it could not be she. Could it? I grow weary of these suspicions. I know there is one child in particular that she is fond of. Pray seek out the boy, Saya, and see if you cannot glean something from him about Orson's activities. Please help. Sister Orson went out all on her own and hasn't come back. She always reads to me right here, and Thal in the order and the other side. I told her I lost my shiny thing and she went looking for it. But what if the monsters outside hurt her? Please find her. Well, sounds like she might not be the perpetrator after all. Yep. Let's do this. What happened, bro? I see. Get up off the sister, bro. You are the one from the church. Thank goodness you arrived when you did. It seems my gratitude is yours yet again. You spoke with the child? Yes, well, I was able to find his lost trinket. It is a ring given him by his mother before she passed. I will see it safely back to him. Sister Orson was attacked outside the Golden Bazaar. Gods forfend. I will secure a room at the inn for her should she require any rest. Searching for the mementos of orphans, and risking our own well-being in the doing, no less? Certainly not the dastardly deeds Thancred would have us believe. I'm well glad I reserved that inn room for Sister Orson. It seems she received greater injuries from her attacks than she initially let on. Thankfully, she is expected to make full recovery. But now, on to the matter at hand. Thancred came looking for you once more. He left word that he will be awaiting at the Almajah encampment to the southeast. I pray the two of you are able to uncover some evidence regarding these disappearances. What's over there, bro? Ah, there you are, Saya. So good of you to come. Indeed, I've heard all about good Sister Orson. Isambard said her wounds were serious. It would seem my suspicions about the poor Rose were misplaced. But false though they were, perhaps my suspicions were not entirely without merit. Whilst following Sister Orson near the Gold Bazaar, a band of Almajah caught my eye. I tracked them as far as the encampment, but, well, let us say that I would much prefer to keep my distance and remain here. This, of course, brings me to why I requested you, dear Saya. Would you be so kind as to take a look inside? Oh, so you just get to keep your distance. I'm the one who has to go right into the lion's den. See if I can sneak. Queer leaflet. Just ninja through like a boss. Well, did anything tickle your fancy? This leaflet. See the wealth of Naud to the hands of your children. It looks to be some sort of assembly to provide the poor with work. The lettering, though, atrocious, is it not? And these bits about Naudthal seem somewhat less than studied. I find it hard to believe one among the order penned this. Pray take this to the inn at Camp Drybone. Let us see what Sister Orson makes of it. My Savior comes again. To what do I owe the honor this day? What is this? Blasphemous. These are not our teachings at all. This was not made by any true brother or sister of the order. Of that, I can assure you. Come to think of it, weeks ago, the church was plagued by missing garments. Could someone be posing as a priest of the order to deceive the people? The plot thickens, Saya. Our culprit pretends to be a priest to lend credence to his deception. There's no doubt and irony in there somewhere. But I suspect we have a worthy adversary on our hands. I shall consider how best to handle this. For now, tell Isambard what we have learned here. Posing as a priest? To think. These troubling notions aside, it is gratifying to finally be able to move this investigation forward. Thank you once again, Saya. I shall keep my ears and eyes open, now more than ever. I'm afraid I have not seen any unusual activity, nor have any at this camp given me cause to doubt them. But unless we can identify the culprit, and soon, more innocents will fall victim. Do not despair just yet, my friend. An idea occurs to me. Our suspect has been posing as a priest, using leaflets bearing false promises to lure the poor. Let Saya and me serve like with by posing as impoverished souls in need of succor. Like with like. I dare to hope that this will yield us the answers we seek. It will be a dangerous undertaking, but you two are more than capable of looking after yourselves. I'm next to useless in a battle, but I can supply the garments for the disguise. These old tunics and slops should serve your needs, so long as you don't mind the smell and the stains. Disgusting. These will serve very well. You have my thanks. Listen, Saya. So as to lay the foundation for our little ploy, we must make it widely known that more vagrants have arrived at camp and are desperate for coin. To this end, I want you to don the old garments Isambard has lent us, and beg for work around the camp. Before long, the false priest should catch wind and approach us. Sounds like a plan. Let's put on the garb. How do we look? Poor? Dirty? Stank? Perfect.